Hello, this webinar is a part of a series, Constitution Commencement Day, and it focuses on the prescription on how to heal our land. And if you've been following with this series, this begins to summarize our thoughts. The first part of healing our land is returning. 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land." This prescription has been taught and talked about for several decades now, which includes humility, prayer, seeking God, and turning to Him. But there's some additional items that I want to submit to your consideration. The second is the renewing of our mind. 2 Corinthians says this, "We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ." Colossians 2:8 says this, "See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the basic principles of this world rather than on Christ." Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Jesus said, in answering a question, that you need to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. He said this in Mark 12. The church, it's been observed, has captured our heart, captured our soul, but has ignored our mind. The workplace, it's been observed, we have no heart, we have no soul, but it engages our mind. And so the challenge for the church is to get on the task of renewing our mind and helping believers and followers of Christ not experience just self-help and financial management on a Sunday morning, but truly to see their mind renewed as the issues of the day are preached and exegeted from the pulpit. The third element is knowledge. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." And in the area of Christian civics training, we're trying to do our part. One idea that is getting traction is the idea of having an annual Sunday that precedes July 4th being Christian Civics Sunday, mobilizing churches to put this simple resource here in every member's hand. And it has some quotes from the Declaration of Independence on one side and the Constitution on another as a way to show that the church is relevant to this part of our lives, but also to train tens of thousands of Christians in the idea of Christian civics and societal involvement. We teach God's providences in American history, a biblical worldview of all of life, and particularly the civic space, and then Christian civics. And this training is provided at christiancivicstraining.org. And so the three elements that we believe that will heal our land is the repenting and returning, the renewing of our mind and breaking off the shackles and philosophies of this age, and then knowledge in this area of Christian civics study. Martin Luther provides this challenge to pastors. "If I profess with the loudest voice and clearest exposition every portion of the truth of God, except precisely that little point which the world and the devil are at that moment attacking, I am not confessing Christ, however boldly I may be professing Christ. Where the battle rages, there the loyalty of the soldier is proved. And to be steady on all the battlefields besides is mere flight and disgrace if he flinches at that point." In other words, if I'm not on the main battlefield, at the point of where the world and the enemy of God is attempting to overrun biblical truth, I am not at my station, but off on a fool's errand. I may be professing Christ, yeah, I know Him, but I am not confessing Christ. That is, providing God's Word for the cultural issues at hand. Pastor and Christian leaders, let's find ourselves preaching, teaching, and equipping, and finding our voice where biblical truth most needs to be heard. Not to bring cowering and submission and domination, but that the full truth of God might be winsomely proclaimed and believers be equipped to be God's transformational agents here on earth. My name's Craig Seibert. Thanks for listening.